So here we're in a 2008 Toyota Hilux. Now, basically from 2005 to 2015, it's the same sort of shape. And the only thing that changes on here is you'll notice like the older ones have like these dials, and the newer ones actually have like a knob that sticks out. Everything else is the same, but SR5 versions have climate control here instead of like manual things. So apart from that, they're all the same. All this like Facia, whatnot's the same. The head unit goes in, the clock and passenger seatbelt thing actually stays there, but the head unit kind of sits above it. It doesn't really matter because obviously the clock's on like the new head unit and like whatnot. Now this model hasn't got any steering wheel controls. That's why we use the knob version. So you still have your knobs here. No, obviously, no USB on here, no reverse camera. So that's why we put one in. Has like speakers in the doors in the front and the back, but majority of the time on the lower badges, that rear speaker spot's actually empty. So we will be releasing a speaker pack for these, which will have like speakers down like the bottom, probably a component for up top, and some like rear speakers. But that is basically it, and we'll put this head unit in. So first thing to do is grab your knobs and pull them off. Fairly straightforward. That's it. You can put them down on the floor in the order they came off in. Two far ones are obviously cool. So now your knobs are off. We just have to take off this Phillips Hilux screwdriver, and then we can pull the whole fascia off. It comes out like so. What you want to do is if you just get your hands on the side here, you should be able to just pull it like that, and then come up here, give it a wiggle. It is plastic, so just softly work on it. It's going to come off. We have trim removal tools in the kit. A majority of time, this one, you can actually just pull it off without even using the trim tools. So that comes off like that. It's got your two has it in your aircon switch here that just have a little clip on the bottom and top. You need to pull out those like so. And that comes off. Just pulled out those two. Yeah, when they came off, was these two here. You just got to push down on top. Up the top here, these two actually have clips in them, and I pop one clip off there. So if you do use the trim tools, it'll help you sort of not do that. Obviously this popped off, because if you wedge it kind of the wrong way, it's sort of stuck on, and then when they go back down there, they can be a real pain to find. So the trim tools on top come in here. You'll be able to get it out without actually popping these off. But on some cars, they just pop off. It's a bit of the luck of the draw. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 more nuts here, and then the whole thing will pull out. So just 10 mil, and obviously 4 of them, they will just unscrew. Yeah. It's just up to the person, not really. The only hard bit's actually all the wires almost, even though it's all plug and play. It looks like a lot when you open the box, but once you know what each one is, it isn't a whole lot.
You're ready?
Now, once you've taken out all of those, just better give us a few tugs and it will come out pretty easily. And then you've got your plugs in the back that you have to undo. So they all have little buttons on the bottom, and you just push them in and they will pull out. So there you go. So this just had 4 plugs on this model, and then you can see here those are the tabs you have to press down on just to release them. Sometimes you just have to push it back in and then press it down to release it, and that's about it. So here we have everything that's in the kit. This here is the 8-inch screen model that has the controls on it here. Obviously pretty handy when you don't have steering wheel controls. Comes with the fascia, and obviously in the back here, that's our main 20-pin plug. Auxiliary plugs are here, 4G GPS and your FM AM antenna. Here we get a reverse camera, so a 1080p reverse camera. That is the camera input cable, so that's where the camera will plug into. These are pre-out, so majority of people won't actually use these, but if you're running an aftermarket amp, you will use these. 4G antenna, GPS, the Bluetooth antenna. This is the third USB plug, 4G SIM card, dual USBs, adapter harness, so just plug into your factory one. That's an SPL connector, so you can hook up the reverse camera easily. Auxiliary in, again, majority of people aren't going to use this. USB retention cable. This model normally doesn't have a factory USB in it. Now there could be some out there that do, but I think you probably won't be needing that. Trim removal tools, obviously stubby holder, USB for updates, OBD2 scan tool, there's a user manual, and your aircon sticker there. Now the first thing you want to do here is make sure you're getting power. So you grab your adapter harness and you match up the plugs. Fairly straightforward. On these models, it's going to be the 2 big ones that mainly get used. This one actually does have the rear speakers in it, which is interesting. and that's actually the harness for auxiliary and steering wheel controls, which I'm pretty sure obviously we don't have on here, but if we do fit them later on, if you put like a different wheel, that might mean the actual wires are actually there. So if you are fitting steering wheel controls, I'm pretty sure you'll be finding a white, a red and a blue wire out there behind the clock spring. So that's what you will be tapping into if you end up doing something with steering wheel controls. That's basically it. The other ones you can actually just chop this plug off because you're not using it. Chop it. There's no actual power on here, but you can just chop it and tape it. Auxiliary doesn't work. We can just tape those up. And then the antenna plug, this here has the direct older school fitment, so we don't need our adapter here. So that can be chopped off, but what we do need to confirm is that we're getting power to the antenna amp if there is one. So on here I don't actually think there is one, so we'll check that the radio works and then we'll just go from there. That just means it's a fully manual antenna, which is fine. I just checked outside here. On this one the antenna's on the roof, so it's just a manual push down and up one, so probably why there's no antenna amp. So plug in the main 20 pin and the radio one, turn the keys on, and hopefully something happens. Normally something does happen, which is pretty good. Just slow boot up the first time when it has no power. After that you'll get quick boot up. So basically all we're checking here,
these new treasury figures show just cool. How big the burden will be.
So we're picking up our radio and our volume. Nothing else to check on this one because there isn't any steering wheel controls or camera. So that's it. It's working. Now so the next thing we'll normally do is go reverse camera here, and then we can test out that, and then we actually wire it up and put it in. Here's our reverse camera here. So obviously it mounts like that. That's our power from our reverse lights, and that is our video feed. Now we have this cable here, so this end here will end up behind our head unit, and the other end here looks like this. Now that one's going to plug into the camera, that plugs into the camera, and you've got a red and black one here, so we need to get the power from the reverse lights to this. So we normally take it off the trailer plug, so here we've just come to the back of the trailer plug, and we'll just screw it into the terminals that are reverse lights. Normally it's a black wire for reverse lights and a white for ground, but just check it with a multimeter if you have one for the pin out, and if you don't have a trailer plug, you just have to obviously unscrew reverse light and take it from there. Now we do include in the kit, this is like an SBO connector. So I've actually tapped into the terminals there, but if you just wanted to chop wires and join like reverse like wires or whatnot, these are pretty handy. So obviously chop your positive and your negative, you put them into here and here, and it gives you two outputs. So obviously two are going to go to our camera and two to your reverse lights. Now these are really easy to use, just strip some wire off the end, you put it in and then you close it down. Super easy way to get a wire going in. You can just wrap that into duct tape at the end if it's in a wet spot or whatnot. Cameras pull like 0.2 of an amp, so they don't pull much. And then here we have just like a Scotch connector that we use in the green wire, the head unit end. Now hopefully in the future we are going to be able to get rid of this cable, and we're going to include like a wireless thing in the kit. So all that will save you doing is will just mean you actually won't have to run this wire. You will just plug a wireless one into here and a one into the head unit end. You'll still have to take your power off the reverse plugs though, but if that comes out, we will list it on the product page, and you'll see a video of how that works as well. So grab this here, a video clip camera in. Obviously you can put two cameras in, but the reverse camera goes into the purple one. I've just run this around the outside of the car, plug it into the purple one like so. Cool. Now that plugs into the bottom here. We're just testing this just to make sure your camera's getting power and everything's working okay. So basically just need to put that power into the head unit again, turn it on. I won't put the car into reverse because the trigger wire is actually just a green one here that will hook to our orange and black one, but we don't have that hooked up yet. So what we'll do is I'll show you. We can just manually override that. Go into your apps, into your F-cam app, and you just want to touch that one to point the camera backwards. Now put the car into reverse, because obviously it's only going to have power when it's in reverse, and you can see, beautiful, got power on there, everything's looking good. Out of reverse the power goes, so that's going to work. It's got power. That's reverse camera all tested. Alright, so then you got to run the cable. So basically here I'll run it. You'll always find some other cables, so you might follow them up this chassis rail, down under there, along under your driver's seat and passenger seat. There's always a grommet. This bit of trim just pops off, just lift it up with your fingers or the trim tools. You can see I've run the cable through here. You can tuck it into the existing clips, and I've come up here, across there. I'll reach your hand down there and grab it out. There it is there. So that's basically it, and it's coming up through that grommet under there.
That grommet you might need to put some, if you can get into there, or if you can't, or if you have to cut it or whatnot, you can just swipe a bit of silicone on it if you really need it to be Alex sealed properly. Yeah, that's about it. Let that cable run.
Now, we also include in the kit, get this down to a second so you can see a bit better, dual rocker switch. So basically you've got quick charge in the top there, so that you know when you plug your phone and it charges quick. That comes out to here. That needs a direct power source. These two sometimes can piggyback off the back of the SIG lighter. Now some models are a bit different and we're just trying to sort of work that out. So if you can't, I'll show you what you do, but like basically you can snip this off and we just need like an ACC power source and ground on here. And the other end of it just goes into one of our USBs, so it just gives you a flashlight mounting point. Just grab your trim tool, pop it in the top here, and you'll be able to leverage along there and pop that out like so. Comes out fairly easy, and straight away I can see that's one that we don't have. It's just a flathead one, and I found the clip that I dropped before, which is handy. But basically that's your power source there. But anyway, what we'll do is we'll take out our blank, feed our wires through first, put our wires through here like so, and this one through here like that. Pull it all the way through, and then make sure it goes up the right way, and then poof, we end up with a nice tidy looking port there. Now I'm not even going to take it off the cigarette one here. I'm just going to leave it as it is, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take it off like our harness, because I know what our harness is doing and what's going on, so that is easier for me. We will try and, these are just spade connectors, so we'll see what we can get in the future to make it easier for you guys, because we're all about making things easier. But basically pull this thing back a bit. This has just got the piggyback wire on it, so all I want to do is grab my pliers, which I can't find. So all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to take power. So our red line here has got ACC power on it, so I'm going to take some power off that for our like USB one, and then if you find the ground, it's a big black one, you can see it here, there's actually some extra grounds coming off it. Now if that is the case, we actually also have something that we'll include in the future, which is just a piggyback to here, so you will like plug into here, and then the other end will go into our head unit, and it gives you some of these auxiliary ports. So that will be something we'll actually include in some of these like sort of models, so you'll have a couple of wires coming off here that will give you like an ACC power source. But this case here, I'm just going to take it off there, and there's another ground coming off, so I'm going to use this ground. And then I was talking like earlier, this plug has no home, we're not going to use it, so it can go. These brown wires you like tape up, they're just key wires, so there's actually there's no power on them, no input wires. Again, this model uses like this one. Some models could use the other one, that's why they are all on there, and we can't just have a perfect one on there. Strip a bit off the end of all your wires here, your two red ones. Try and tuck it a bit so it's not flying for everything, and then off this side too. And then basically with an SPL connector, we just want to put it into here, and then it's actually popped out. Have you seen that before? Into here. So that's going to give us two powers, and then our ground, which is not going to give us ground anyway because it's not pulling. Oh yes, it will give us ground. Our ground into here. Exactly like I said, this is how we're doing it here. We're going to include that a piggyback wire because that's going to be much tidier for you guys, so that's what we'll include. Now I'll run these two cables from our power switch up here, our rocker panel switch. Obviously we have a red and a black, so all it needs is a ACC power source, and the reason for that is it's a quick charge, so it doesn't put a whole lot of power, but it just needs a direct power source. You can't take it off a USB because we can't have data and that on the same one at the moment, maybe in the future hopefully. So that's that and that, and obviously you got your other red one that needs to go in. So that's basically all done. Now that's it hooked in. Obviously, like I said before, I don't love that for you guys, so we'll try and make that better for you. So that's our quick panel switch powered up, so you can chuck this back in now. Make sure your clips line up. Actually, what I'll do first is just turn the keys on and just make sure, turn the keys on, just like make sure you have to, I'll cup your hands over it, but if I cup my hands over, I can see there's actually, this outside bit actually lights up, so that tells us we got power. So that was what we're after. So just line all those up again, shoot, push it in. There you go, nice tidy port there. Now we can basically go through and we'll start doing all our wires. So there's a few extra things we have here. So obviously GPS. Now I normally just, you only need a bit extra there. I just sort of pull one sort of more loop out, and then I leave this all tied up already. Now you just want to put this up under here. It just needs to go under the dash. You just want to have a clear view of the sky without having steel over top of it, if you can get that. So the stick pad's off it. Find a spot under here or on top of something. Give it a clean with your hand because it's probably pretty dirty. It's going to stick well anyway, so I'm actually putting it on top of, feels like an aircon to me. Stick that down, hold it for 30 seconds, give it a good push down. Lightning down. So that's that. Other antenna here, 4G antenna. Again, peel the stick pad off, put it in the same sort of place. Just works like your phone. Your phone gets reception even when it's like anywhere in your car. So 4G is pretty strong, but we might as well help it out as you can. So again, find a spot for that and stick that down nice and hard. So yeah, I left them just up because you got enough there to get them through. Dual USBs. So unflip this one. What we're going to do is external mic port, don't worry about. We've worked out this model, doesn't help, doesn't work well. Our internal one works best. 2 USBs, CarPlay plus Android Auto. Might as well plug that into the one that's come from your rocker switch, so that extends that one down into there. The other one is like an extra one, so I normally just drop that out either the passenger or the other side, and I put it in the footwell down here. You can put it in the glove box. The reason why we have so many USBs is because there is extra things that you can add on and do. Fairly tight, you can see it just sits there. You can even tuck it completely under if you want to hide it completely, or you can run it to the glove box. This one here, SIM card, I'll run this into the glove box. Now, some people use the SIM card in our head unit, some people don't. Just like basically gives the head unit sort of internet the whole time, or turns it into like a phone. So some people find that useful, some people don't even know what that means, and if you don't know what it means, then you probably don't need it. So that's run through. Third USB, majority of people use this for our dash cam or tire pressure system or some extra add-on we've got. Again, I put it in the glove box because if you do ever need it, then you can get to it easily. So that's that. Then we've got our antenna that plugs in the back of the head unit and our camera one. So that's basically that. Now I just go through and I just tape and tidy up a little bit, and then we'll put the head unit back in. So the taping up, you can get as carried away as you want, but the main thing is if you tape things, give them a bit extra, because you kind of want them to tuck down the back there because there's heaps of room just down there. Now the one extra one we've got here is we've got our 2 little Scotch connectors here. So this is for our reverse camera trigger, so our orange and black here. Put on one of these, slide it down, close it up, give it a squeeze together. Don't push it in too far, otherwise it won't be happy. And then the other side, just make sure obviously these plug together. Just make sure you put it in the right one. So we need to go into the one on this side. So that's fine. So that's our little green wire here, goes into here, and we'll clamp that down as well. And then all good in the hood, hopefully. There's a couple of things we'll take off the old fascia, put in our new one. These clips, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can pop them off with a screwdriver, just make sure you have your hand over top because they do flick off. So they just go back onto our one, same place they were on the original one. They clip on like that. That's fairly straightforward. Can't go wrong there. And you've got your aircon vents here. Now what you do is they've got 3 little clips on this side, so you can basically bend it in a bit towards the middle, and then you'll find it actually just pretty much do it one-handed maybe. And you've got one more clip in here to do that there, that extra little clip there, and then that pops out like that. So again, pretty easy, and it will clip in down into our one. Just make sure it all lines up. It goes in how it came off. So that's that. And then you got these 2 here, 1, 2. These slide out. They just have a little clips in the side here. Expand that out. I pull them back, and then I push them into our fascia. So aircon vents in, clips on. Now these aircon vents, you might just need to, if you find your model is hitting on here, you might just have to chop out a wee bit of plastic on our fascia. We will see what models have this and don't have it, and see if we can actually just take it out, because I think if we remove it, it isn't going to affect anyone. But you just might have to just chop a little bit of plastic tab out there. You'll see it kind of hits on the top. And then put these in. This one, the hazard one, when you slide it in, push it down in the bottom of it a little bit, so you kind of slide it on an angle like that. You'll see it goes in just fine. Clips on, and then we'll just come and put our sticker on the front, this one right here, and we'll be good to go. So now we go through, before you do slot it back in, just do those checks that we did at the start again. Check your reverse camera works, whatnot, because they're always good ones to do. So main 20-pin power plug-in, reverse camera plug-in, which obviously goes to this one. Tuck that into there. Oh, sorry, purple one. Really easy to put them in the wrong spot. Got our 2 USB plug, that's going to come over. We got that third USB plug, pink one. And there should be a green one, which is our SIM card. That goes in. Now I just double check here because, like I said, very easy to miss them. This one here doesn't hook into anything, but very important because it gives us our antenna for our Bluetooth. This one here in the bottom here. Now you got 4G. Colours are a bit off of those. You should be able to see. Double check you've got everything there. Then what we'll do is we'll just set it here. Power the keys on. Again, just checking things we checked before. The reverse and sound, etc. Also, obviously, before we put it in, I'll make sure you put these two in. Then when you put the other cables in the back, kind of like tuck them down and out. There you go, picked one up already. Check that, didn't get any reception because I haven't put the antenna plug in. Reverse working all good. Alright, so that's good. Make sure I put in that antenna plug. That's why you always check, because you guarantee you always forget something. And don't forget your other one over this side, which is your AC. Line up those holes, make sure your plugs are going to drop down nicely behind there. Again, if it's not going in nicely, double check it because it's plastic, and while you do have to give it a bit of a push, it should go in quite nicely without absolutely forcing it in. So that's why we always just double check. There you have it. So you can see it sitting in there. You can actually still see the time in the the hazard one. Still looking pretty good. So again, what I like to do, turn it on again. Same checks, reverse, etc. Cool.
That mitigates the
and got sound in that. Now I did notice that there went back to our original boot up screen. That didn't. So you see how that quick booted there? I'm just going to give this a few minutes and so I double check that, because when the car turns off, it should quick boot. And the only reason I wouldn't is if the car side had something strange going on. So that's not quite right. So we'll double check that. So that shouldn't be happening like that. So there you go, all installed. Good job. That's what it looks like there. Obviously we have our reverse camera working, and yeah, that's installed with our USB switch down there.